Hi everyone, this is Roman Zelenka and welcome to my podcast where we explore the wisdom of those around us. Okay, so welcome to another episode of my podcast. Today it's very early morning. We are in Budapest, in Hungary. And today I'm sitting here on Margit Island with Jérôme Rattoni. And Jérôme is a friend of mine. We know each other about 2 years. Yeah, I attended your workshop about MoveNut. So tell me, So tell me more. What is MoveNut and why you are doing this type of exercise?
Okay, Roman, thank you very much. First of all, for coming here, inviting me for this podcast. I appreciate the invitation. Yes, it's early morning. So about MoveNut is part of my life, and why do we do this in the morning early? It's because I have another job to attend during the day, like I think a lot of people, and I like this. I like the fact that I could still implement a training program into my life, and I think that's the biggest concern of many people. How much time can I dedicate to my health and lifestyle? And I like to say that MoveNut is for everyone. We used to say that. MoveNut is based on natural movement. And natural movement for us means three key things. Movements should be practical, meaning that they are useful in real life. We can develop it if we have a bit of time. Then all those movements have to be efficient. So we need to think about how to conserve our energy while doing movements, how to be safe, avoiding injuries or accidents, and overall having a better performance doing those movements. So this is how we define what is for us natural movement. And to give a quick analogy, when Erwan Accord, the founder of MoveNut and the author of the book, The Practice of Natural Movement, that we have here, that I showed to you. So it's a heavy book, and Erwan took a lot of time to do it. That's also what we call it, the Bible of Natural Movement, released this year. He has a very good analogy about tigers, and he's asking people, how do you train a wild tiger? Do you put him on the treadmill? You ask him to run 30 minutes? Do you put some dumbbells on his front legs and ask him to do some biceps curls? And something else for the back legs? Of course, the reaction is always like, it is ridiculous. And why it should be any different for us humans? So I like also to not talk only about animals, but to talk about who was not born a baby. We were all babies, and at some point we are all following a training program, if you want to call it. We were on our back. Then we were rolling over onto the belly. And what did we do from the belly position? We lifted our head to look around, not because we wanted a big neck, a nice looking neck. It's because we wanted to look around, and here you have a very nice setting. I'm happy to, listening to the birds, looking at the trees, and look around, looking at people and enjoying what I'm looking. But the byproduct is I will have, and the baby will have, a healthy, mobile neck. So if we understand this logic, that can apply to every single movement. Because if you have this practical sense of, okay, I need my neck to actually rotate my head and put my eyes where I want them to be, then your whole body will actually follow. And MoveNut, I think, exists because the trend is now to think about isolated muscles, isolated movements without any purpose, just for the sake of looking good. Of course, looking good is good. Everybody wants to look good, but for us, that's a byproduct. So this is how I can summarize what MoveNut is.
Yeah, I can't agree more.
I know you're living this lifestyle too.
And you are right. You are running into your office in a few minutes. I am attending a conference here, but still we can do some exercise not only to look good, but also feel good and be healthy, you know, and to have some practical movement.
Well, when I arrived, I saw you already moving, waiting for me, which is very good. And I like to call it movement snacks. Mm-hmm. If you remember, the snacks are, you know, when you're hungry, you will have a bite. You know, you will grab something to eat. If you're thirsty, you will drink a little bit of water. Okay, why would it be different for movement? Yeah. I like to tell my students, because I'm the instructor for MoveNat in Europe, doing workshops all over the place. And I like to tell people, okay, what if we wait the entire day without drinking anything, and when you come back to your hotel room or home, I want you to drink 2 liters of water at once. And people usually say, well, that's crazy. But this is what we do with movements.
And this is excellent comparison. I agree.
We sit in the office like I will, and I see, you know, many of my colleagues, and me included. Sometimes, you know, you're stuck in some emails and you're focused, and you realize that, whoa, it's been 2-3 hours that I didn't move, and that's crazy, because then you're like, oh, but I will do a big high intensity session at the end of the day, so I'm good. But think about your nervous system. You shut it down for a few hours, and then boom, you go crazy. And no wonder people get injuries.
I was doing the same for many years. Mm-hmm. And I had the feeling I'm a fit guy, you know, I'm an Ironman, but I had many injuries, and I was not feeling well. And then you inspired me, and I somehow implemented MoveNat snacks and MoveNat exercise to my life. It changed, and it's very easy to practice this type of movement with my kids. For them it's very natural, you know, and we call it let's do a bear, let's do a lion, and we have different names for this.
You play to kids.
Yeah, and they love it, because for them, they don't want to go to the gym, you know, and play with weights. And
so if it doesn't speak to them, it speaks tons, speaks volumes. Because if it doesn't speak to kids, when they are very close to what we should be, then maybe we should look at them and listen to them a bit more. You know, if you see here in the park a bit later, not at 6:30, 7 a.m., but you will see a lot of kids running around, using those chairs, using benches, you know, using a ball and running and crawling, rolling around. Try to follow them. That would be a real hard task. Not just follow them. Try to do exactly what they are doing. You would be exhausted in 5-10 minutes, and they would still be smiling, because they respect this training program for years. Every day they do something. They are alive. We are shut down year after year by the system, you know, by the school system, university, or any labor that you have. In my case, this is office or meetings. You're traveling a lot, so you know what it is to be stuck in the airport, on a plane,
for many hours.
in many hours, meeting rooms, jet lag, and you know, it basically kills you from the inside. So if you like your job, you know, and if you have a passion for something else, that's great. But be aware that you need to balance it out, because we don't have only one head. We are attached to a body, and we need to respect that.
So could you be more specific? How you do that? You are flying a lot during these long flights. I saw some videos, you know, that you exercised in the plane. Then I started to do the same, and I was like...
You got some looks?
Yeah, I got some looks. But I had a feeling that I'm the most healthy person in the plane, and I feel excellent. So how you do it? Can you be more specific?
Yeah, so I will give you, I think, 2 examples. So the first one on the plane, simply doing some kneeling positions. You know, yes, I understand the weirdo aspect of doing something that people are not doing. Like they sit in their place, they're in the seat and
watching some movie.
Watching movies and they see someone moving around. They basically see a big kid and they wonder why this adult wants to move. If you sit next to a bunch of kids, that's kind of a nightmare for if you want to rest, right? If you want to sleep, you will see the kids going on the back of the seat, you know, talking to the neighbor behind, screaming, maybe rolling around, because they just get bored. Okay, so kneeling would be kind of a compromise between going not too crazy and being stiff as hell. I like also to hang on anything I can, not fully hanging, but just stretching and hanging. So those are the two things I like to do on the plane. I give you another example. Here in Budapest we have subway, metro, tram, whatever you call it, and you know, we have bars, and you know, to avoid falling. And I for many years I had 11 stations from my home to work, and I like to use those old Russian metros that we have here that are rock solid, and I used to hang, still putting my feet on the ground. So I would say 80% of my body weight was hanging, and I was taking this challenge to hang from the moment the metro starts until it slows down to the next station. And I calculated the net time was 9 minutes 30 seconds of hanging. I got a lot of looks. In the reflection of a window I could see people, you know, looking at their smartphone. Back in the days they still had books. Now it's less and less books, unfortunately. But they had this position, looking up and be like, oh my God, what is he doing? And I was thinking, what are you doing? Because you have a very hunchback, internal rotation, your head is moving forward, and you have what we call the T-Rex shape.
Yeah, I have it as well.
and I do too a little bit, and I counter it every day because we are in this laptop shape that we need to get out from. So a very healthy movement apart from hanging, because it is very good for alignment and shoulders and spine, everything. I like to do what we call the inverted crawl, the foot hand inverted crawl, which is a very counter movement when you have external rotation, chest up, and you actually work on your shoulder mobility. Why? Because you want to be strong at the end of the range of motion from an internal rotation perspective. So it's just a few examples that you can do, and I of course love the tripod transition. A tripod, and maybe we will be able to do a few later that we can show to your audience. Doesn't require a lot of space. I would say 2 square meters. You know, in a hotel room it's easily doable.
And this is what I do. I don't need a gym. I don't need to go anywhere. I can just wake up, you know, and do. I need 2 square meters and do my exercise, and I'm done.
Yeah, and you feel like 5 minutes. If you do it 5 minutes straight, you know, or you cut it in a few reps, tripod on one side, tripod on the other side, you realize that it's a full body workout. And of course, and MoveNet, we always prioritize the practical aspect. So we teach this movement not because it's a full body workout, but because it's a standing up position movement, standing up movement. It can also be a self-defense movement, can be a vault movement.
Yeah, maybe you started to explain different types of MoveNet. Can you be more specific? Because I know aquatics, combat exercise, combatives. What else?
So we have I'm responsible for a workshop for level 1 and level 2 mostly. That is the curriculum based on locomotive skills and manipulative skills. So the combatives and the aquatics are managed by our master instructor Vic Verdier, who specialized in those areas.
And what is it about? Just very briefly.
Rescuing people underwater, how to breathe efficiently, cleaning your swimming techniques. If you thought you were a good swimmer, Vic will show you. Maybe you're not that good of a swimmer. I was actually in Mexico last winter, and we did a 2-day workshop on this aquatics curriculum, and I believe I was pretty good in the water. I feel good in the water, but I was very happy with all the techniques, the breathing techniques that we learned, how to manage your CO2 versus oxygen level, and at the end being able to rescue a big guy like Vic when he's panicking and about to drown deep in the water. So those are real tests. And actually what motivated me at the beginning to start MoveNat, as my dad almost drowned in Corsica under huge waves, and he got saved by someone who was healthy and strong enough and skilled enough to be in the water and get this 90-kilo guy panicking out of the water. And at the time I was thinking, could I do that? So it was in 2011. And I was like, maybe not. I was not sure I could do this. And I was like, I need to find out. So that's why when we had this test last winter, I was thinking of this. I was like, now it's time to prove, to show. And funny enough, my dad almost drowned in Corsica. And right after that, when I was doing some search on the internet, I found this video from MoveNat that I think everybody watched who in the movement community, the workout the world forgot by R1. And this was filmed in Corsica. So I saw it as a sign. I was like, I need to dig this deeper.
Mm-hmm. So, and this is what I love about MoveNat as well, that it can be practical in your life. You can save somebody's lives. And then you mentioned you can defend yourself.
You can defend yourself, and that's the Combatives workshop that we have. I've done it 3 times already because I love it. I love the atmosphere of this course. I like the way Vic is teaching it. It's all about how to avoid a fight at first. So people think like, okay, that will be a crazy workshop and I'm a bit scared of it. You don't have to. It's really for everyone. The same way MoveNat is for everyone, like the curriculum, locomotive, manipulative. Combatives is especially for white belts. Because white belts, if we talk about martial arts, are basically the victims. They can be victims of bullies in the street. Based on your body language, if you have a victim body language like this, or if you are chesting up and you're looking around, you have less chance to be attacked. You could still be attacked, but we work a lot on how we can avoid the whole process of it. And then we go through hand-to-hand combat with weapons. And what I love with MoveNat in general, and with Vic's course especially, is we go to the simplest tools, simplest techniques, very easy to implement. So, being a martial artist takes it's a lifelong journey. Here you can, in 2 days, you can have a glimpse of increase your confidence that, okay, if I implement those 2, 3, 4 techniques, I'm better off than before I started the course. Okay, and there are some crazy pictures that you can see on the website or Instagram, MoveNat, where we gauge people in the eyes, but it's all fun. We play with slow motion. We actually learn the movement patterns, how to basically read a bit faster. What could happen, the reaction from someone, the hand gesture, the looks. It's very interesting for everyone interested in defending themselves, and I think everybody should.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, can you tell us more about your type of exercise that you specialize on and you focus on, and what do you train and the workshop I attend? Okay,
so my background is soccer, football in Europe. If the US people are watching this, I was a soccer player for 20 plus years, and that was my passion. This is all I cared about. I started in doing athletics, so I applied this athletics, this speed, to my football game, soccer game, and I loved it, and I was enjoying, and I was very competitive. till I reached 30 years old or something, and I started to get some nagging injuries, like hamstring tears or rolling ankles and this and that. And I got frustrated with this, because I never thought that I was lacking anything, you know, because I was never taught, okay, maybe you should do something for your upper body, or you should climb, or you should roll. I was just thinking, okay, I will run, I will pass my opponent, I will cross, I will pass, I will tackle, I will jump for some headers, and I need big endurance, so I need to run a lot. So basically running, but maybe badly running, or running with a high intensity all the time, was maybe something that was detrimental for my body, you know, to a certain extent. It's a specialized sport. That's why we say we need to be generalist. We need to expand our view and have this, what we call the physical baseline, to be able then to enjoy your life a bit more and not being on the sideline because of an injury. So what I'm doing now is that I follow the whole program, which is an endless journey. Because as soon as I'm like, okay, it's been a long time I didn't lift, a long time, I mean a few days, like I didn't lift anything, and I like to lift real things, like rocks, logs, and I have rocks in my garage. And
I'm following you on Instagram, and I'm always laughing. But you know what? I brought some rocks from the mountains that I'm doing the same right now. So and it's much better than having.
Yeah, because we work a lot on a lot of things we are doing are open grips. Because if you see in nature, you don't have many things that you can grip, unless you are a farmer and you know you have some bags, but it's created from handmade, you know. But rocks, you basically have to carry it or lift it and carry it from open hand. When you want to climb, you know, you can have those street workout that we will go soon. It's all close grip. But what about a tree branch? What about a wall? It's all open grip. So MoveNat is all about adapting ourselves to what we have. So basically I have this mindset to always train mostly open grips, real objects, compact objects, like maybe sharper, because that makes you tougher also to get a bit bruised sometimes, you know. So that's just the lifting part. Then I realized, oh, I didn't climb for a while, or I didn't run for a while. Balance is very important for me, and I think for all office workers or people who look at laptops a lot, because you realize that when you balance we use a beam, you know, a wooden beam, 2x4 beam that Air One implemented years ago. Here we have benches. I would try to balance on the bench, and I realized that after years and hours of looking at the laptop, my balance is off, and I need 5-10 minutes to reset and reset myself. So balance is a great way to focus on the movement itself and not worry about anything else. That's the drawback of our society, which is to multitask and to always have some other thought than what you're actually doing at the moment. So I like to balance, think about nothing else, because if you think about something else, you lose balance. Okay.
So does it help you to find balance also in your private life?
Yes, it does. Because not only in private life, but at my workplace too. I'm more calm, I'm less frustrated. The stress that I accumulate during the day, sometimes I go home, I'm like, okay, I need to balance for half an hour. I just take my shot, go somewhere, balance, come back, I'm refreshed. You know, so I think I could avoid a lot of conflicts at home, at work. You know, once you get released, you get rid of the stress that you accumulate anywhere else. If you are stuck in a crowded tram, in a crowded
watching your smartphone.
Yeah, if you're like this for half an hour,
reading bad news.
Exactly. You know, as you mentioned, in smartphones you have a lot of information, maybe too much, gets toxic. Then you don't have your personal space, so you're stuck with people that you basically don't want to be with, but you're like, okay, it's my fate for half an hour. All those things are basically attacking you. You need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
your muscles are contracted, and
you need space, you need fresh air, you need to think about yourself to be a better person. So yes, it does help me, and I think it helps a lot of people already for the years I was teaching this workshop. So
excellent. I'm so happy to hear this, and I'm so happy to send it out to other people so they can get some inspiration. So tell us how they can get started.
How they can get started is simply walking in a park like that. Walking, okay? I know in Europe we are not still affected by this, but in the US not so many people walk. Here people walk more, bike more. But still it's going. You see segways and hoverboards and kids on, like just rolling, and they're not walking anymore. So walk. Just walk, enjoy, and don't just follow the path. You realize that MoveNat, by knowing techniques MoveNat offers you, you will be able to be like, oh, can I balance on this bench? Can I actually crawl on this grass? Can I roll on this grass? But before doing all of this, how people get started is simply by walking, kneeling, sitting down, trying to stand up, try different techniques of standing up without hands, with hands. See how it goes. If you're stuck and if it's painful, yeah, you could actually consult what we have on for free on social media. On YouTube, MoveNat has a channel, and on this channel, Danny Clark and the team did a great job of putting a lot of videos, very short videos, giving a lot of options for people, like a deep knee bend, tall kneeling, deep squat, side bend sit. Many different ground movements. So I would say start with ground movement and check this YouTube page, this YouTube channel. It's very good. And then go to a workshop. I would say have this experience of meeting a group of people who have the same desire, same will to improve, and you have this mentality, this very positive vibe, energy. And I'm always grateful to have this kind of people everywhere, anywhere I travel, whether it's in Europe. I will go in Brazil at the end of the year. I've been in the Middle East, been in the US, so that opens, to many cultures. And but I see wherever I go, wherever I travel, we always have this same mindset of being happy with people we like to be with. So in MoveNat we like good people. It's not about being the best. It's about having a community of generally good people who want to help each other and help others. So I'm doing this for me, but I'm doing this for the people around the world, but I'm also doing this for my family, for my kids. So yeah, so they can start ground movements, walking, attending a workshop. If they want to be a trainer, they can also apply for the certification, which is level 1, level 2 and level 3. We have one in Europe soon, in Vienna this July. It will be
it's not too difficult. Even I did it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be difficult. That's the point. It should not be difficult. If any kid is watching us doing, level 1, level 2, they're like, well, yeah, I'm doing this. The problem is that for adults, we spend 20 years not doing this, or more. So that's the thing. And level 1 is on the weekend. Then we have 2 days on Monday, Tuesday usually for level 2. And all the level 2s can apply for the level 3, which is once a year, whether it's in the US or in Europe. And as I said, we'll have one in Vienna, Austria, mid-July. And I think that would be a great event.
Mm-hmm. What about this new book? What you can say about this?
First of all, it's a heavy book, as you could wait. This book is essential for us because for many years, Erwan, who developed the natural movement method, or I would say the practice of natural movement, like the title of the book, he created the MoveNat method based on this. We didn't have a book as a reference, so we were talking about it. We were passionate about it, and I think the team, myself and Danny Clark and the team of instructors in Europe, we have Bernd in Munich, we have many instructors in the US, men and women. We have Melissa and Kimberly in the US doing great job. We have Stefano in Canada, Kellen, we have Eric Brown. I could name them all. It's a great team of people that we have. But we didn't have this book. And now that we do have, we can easily refer also for people to read the book, buy the book. And you will see not only the movements, but the philosophy behind it. As you could tell, I'm talking not so much about the movement itself. I'm talking about the vision. People talk about motivation, but if you don't have a vision of what you want to be, no trainer can tell you do X reps of X whatever. On the long term, it doesn't work. So this book is great. It's a beautiful book. It's a textbook. Like I like to emphasize it. Very complete. And you can easily go back and forth. I keep opening and checking, oh, this movement, yeah, it's been a while, I didn't do this one. And he explains why it's useful and why is it good for you to do this movement. So it's not only like, do this or do that. It's a great book and I really recommend it. You can buy it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And
I will definitely share a link.
Yeah.
And I will share some links to the YouTube channel so people can find it. But tell me one thing, and because from my experience, when I'm inspired by somebody, I start to do a new type of movement, a new type of exercise, and then I can have an injury. How can I start again? How I can modify all those movements, you know, to be healthy again.
Okay, if we talk about injuries, remember what I was saying about the baby. Baby respects this training program or her training program, which is okay, I will lift my head, training my neck because I want to look around. And I would like to go somewhere because I've seen something flashy, you know, a red t-shirt, and I'm like, oh, I want to go there from a lying position. The baby will not just go sprawl and run to this t-shirt. It will be a few weeks, months, till he's able to put his body weight on his wrist or on his forearm first, then on his knees, and then removing the knees and be on all fours and maybe standing up, walking faster, running. See, the baby was following the progression of what we should all do. The problem is that we were just mentioning YouTube, is that people look at some fancy videos on YouTube and they're like, oh, I want to do this.
Handstand.
But, handstand is a good example. But people are impatient. This is the reflection of our society nowadays. We want things quicker. Everything should be quick. In the morning, you want to read news. You want people to make summary of some news that you like, you know. That's why on your Twitter feed, you have only the things that you like, right? So, if we don't have patience, we should also understand that we take risks. Okay, so we increase the injury risk by going too fast in a progression. Handstand could be done safely if you, first of all, crawl. If you put 50% of your body weight on your wrist while crawling, well, it's maybe better to do this first before putting 100% of your body weight on a handstand.
Okay, so maybe because they are starting to cut the grass behind us, I think we should move and do some movement. So thank you for coming. Thank you for finding in your full schedule 1 hour to meet me, to share this amazing information and vision. And I hope that we can inspire some other people to start moving, start living, and be healthy, be happy. So thanks for coming, and let's do some exercise.
Thank you, Roman. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to this interview. This podcast is about sharing the inspirational sides of people we know in the hopes that it motivates you to explore yours. If you like it, feel free to share it and let us know. And if you don't, we would love to hear why.